I hate talking in microphones. Can everybody hear me? Okay, if it gets to where you can't hear me, just let me know and I will use the microphone. My name is Ferneau Haynes. I work at the Oceanside Public Library. I am a student at San Jose. And I was reading an issue of Voya about a year and a half ago. And in reading one of the articles, it was listing some statistics. It was telling us some of the statistics of teenagers that are homeless. And okay, that was saddening, but it wasn't shocking. As I'm reading this article, I saw a statistic that I couldn't believe. I had to find out if this was true. And the statistic was that 1 in 110 children are currently being diagnosed with some form of an autistic disorder. And it's autistic spectrum disorder. It ranges from very high functioning to very low functioning. And I thought, this can't be true. Growing up, maybe 1 in 100,000 children would be diagnosed with an autism diagnosis. But it was true. There's some research, and I haven't been able to actually substantiate it, but that number's even smaller today. And people wonder why all of a sudden are so many children being diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. It's because they're looking for it more. I mean, that's not the right way to say it, but it's because it's being recognized more. Where in my generation we would just be told, "Oh, you've got ants in your pants, sit down. You know, don't do that." Now these children are being diagnosed with an autistic spectrum disorder. Well, my next thought then was, well, if 1 in 110 children have this, have an ASD, and we have 1,000 people walk through our doors a day, we have some of these children in our library, but we don't have any services for them. We don't have any programs for them. We don't even know what these patrons look like. And if this is part of the demographic that is using your services and coming in and interacting with the library and interacting with the librarians, we should know about it. So, in my research, I was thinking about the reference interview. This goes back to our schooling. We've all taken 210, or we're going to take 210, which teaches you how to be a reference librarian, or how to do reference interviews, all of that. We're told, or we're taught, keep eye contact. And I'll focus on the eye contact one. Keep eye contact. But if a patron has an ASD, if you have a patron perhaps that has an autism spectrum disorder, an Asperger's syndrome, it could be that patron can't look you in the eye. When you are diagnosed with autism, it means that socially you have these different, it's like a social disorder. It's harder to interact with people socially. It's harder to have conversations with people. In the handout that I gave you, it talks a little bit about that it is a neurologically based disorder. It is also a disorder that you find all across the spectrum. It is a disorder that, if you're rich, your children can be diagnosed with this. If you're poor, if you're in the Latino community, if you're in the Asian community, there is no community that is diagnosed with it more than another. The only favorite, for lack of a better word, is that 4 times more boys are diagnosed with it than girls. So those patrons that you get in the library that are running around and just really, they're in that story time and they just have ants in their pants. Telling them over and over and over again, sit down, quiet, don't do that. That's the wrong approach. With patrons with autism, or patrons that have an autism spectrum disorder, there's a whole different way that we should approach it as librarians. And And it's not only with the children. These children now are starting to age. They're starting to be the teenagers that are in our libraries. And soon they're going to be the adults that are in our libraries. And if you think about it, have you had patrons in the library that when you talk to them, they don't want to look you in the eye? Or the patron that says, I push that print button, and how come it's not printing? I want my print right now. Where's my print? I need my print. I press that print. I mean, how do you handle that? There is a wonderful program, and it's free. And I urge all of the librarians and all of the mentors and all of the students, all of you, to go to it. It's the Libraries and Autism We're Connected website, and on this page it has the links. It's a 20-minute video, and it really opened my eyes to a different way of being a librarian, a different way of dealing with these people. And I know in my library, and I'm sure in all of your libraries, there are those patrons that, oh, here comes that person again. Okay. You have to steady yourself. You know, all of a sudden, the person working with you has to go to the restroom. Okay. Well, it could just be that that person is autistic. It could be, that's how come that person talks so loud all the time, or that's how come that person talks really soft and won't look at you and won't listen. Just being aware of that, being aware that it could be that it's this other disability that they have, and you can approach it differently. It was very empowering to me, and it's very welcoming to the patrons as well, because we do want the library, public libraries, and academic libraries to be a welcoming, open place for all of the communities. So please, I urge you, look at that. It takes 20 minutes of your time. The website is on here. On the back of the flyer that I handed out, there's also some tips, some customer service tips. And these are good for public library, they're good for school libraries. Talking about partnerships in the schools. There's, again, in the classroom, in the second grade classroom, in the kindergarten classroom, there are those students that have been diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder. There are those students that are very bright, that talk constantly, that don't know about waiting turns. They don't have that social, they don't get the social cues. They don't, when you say shh, 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 they don't understand that. Ask the principal of the library, or principal of the school, excuse me, that as a librarian, can you go and sit in some classrooms? Can you just go and observe some of these behaviors? Observe how the teachers deal with these behaviors. But don't be afraid of the behaviors. Don't be afraid of these patrons. And don't think that the patrons don't understand you. The patrons do understand you. The patrons understand what you're saying. They understand. They just have so much going in. They have so much sound and so much everything that we're able to block out. They can't. But they're intelligent. Don't talk down to them. Don't be condescending. Don't assume that because this is the 25th time that this patron wants to check out the same book, that it's a bad thing. More than anything else, just go to this website. There's also other wonderful areas that you can get information. If you go to the AOA website, type in autism, wonderful resources come up for you. When I was at conference last, this is an issue that's really starting to get talked about, especially for the children's librarians. There's this wonderful movement now to create story times and to create spaces in the library that are sensitive to this issue, that are sensitive to what the children are sensitive to. So definitely, as you go to the conferences, seek out while you're looking at all of your different diversity programs and stuff, don't bypass something on autism, because if 1 in 110 children, and again, they say that that number is even smaller, but 1 in 110 children, in 20 years, those children are going to be in our libraries. You know, they're in 10 years, the children are teenagers. Now, those children are coming into the libraries with their parents. We hope maybe they're not coming in, maybe the parent doesn't feel comfortable bringing them in. Make it a comfortable space. You want to serve your community. And look for more resources, and please do go to this website, look at this video. The video is very empowering. Thank you.